Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I told my wife this morning or this afternoon, we got the mother load here. And I say the mother load in a really great way. We have the queen, I think it's the queen, or we'll call her Miss International, because now, even though it's just the United States, I mean, she could take over the world. And this is the mother load. Right here we have Miss Megan Vladik, Miss New Jersey International. Miss International of the world. After that big thing, Miss National. Oh my God,
Do we need to start this over?
No, we actually should. Well, it is true. I did say you were the mother load, and I put extra spritzes of cologne for this one. So it's true. I really did. My wife was like, "Should I come?" I'm like, "No. This is Miss Megan. This is Miss Megan Vladik." Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
It is really so great to see you. And by the way, your pictures don't do you justice. You are beautiful, like stunning beautiful.
Thank you.
And when you play that drum set, yes, ladies and gentlemen, she's a drummer, which was awesome. Well, she sat
brand
behind
new
the drum.
today.
Yes, brand new today, but you can start at any age. But it was a pleasure. Now, we were supposed to have you a while back.
Yes.
And something about COVID came up, and you couldn't leave, and we really, really wanted to see you and meet you, and there was a lot of people. I mean, there must have been hundreds of people just lined up outside.
I'm so flattered right now.
Megan, I'm serious, they really wanted to meet you, and they say, sorry, COVID got her first, so we now have to get you second, which is great, but now this is even better.
But I'm still here.
You are, absolutely. So you are the queen. I mean, you are the queen of all queens in that you won the entire competition, right? Now, that international competition means that you're on stage in front of how many people?
2.
No!
Just kidding.
I was kidding. No, how many people?
Couple
hundred people.
Yeah.
And I saw when you won, it was like an amazing thing because
That's interesting because I still haven't seen that video.
You haven't?
Mm-mm. I heard someone's got it, so.
Wow, we should play that.
Let's see it.
Yeah. So I will talk about your platform in a second, and you're very, very interesting. But I think you do this for a living. Like you're beautiful, and you just tell everybody, and you win all the competitions. Is that the way it works, or do we have to clear that with Constantine first? Can I? Is it a proxy? So Constantine is Constantine the manager? What is Constantine?
He's my hype girl.
He's your hype girl. Okay, so we have a hype girl. So I'll just run it by. Because Constantine, is it okay that she does this for a living? I mean, she's beautiful and she wins all the awards? Yeah. Okay, great. So it's no wonder you're Miss International, right? Is it Ms. M-I-S-S, International?
Miss.
Terrific. So enough about me. Let's tell everybody about yourself. So when you won, what you've done, and the people that you've met, and the amazing awards that you get like, that's thousands of things people send you. You're like wearing different clothes all the time. You're kissing fish on Instagram. I don't know if God threw that one. Maybe that was a bone. Tell me a little
bit. Did I not say the fish thing was going to come up? I knew it.
So tell me, what did you like most about winning? What was the biggest thing that you can say?
I think it was just the initial shock. Hearing my name being called, I think they said Miss Illinois International, Megan Vladik. And it was so surreal. My dress, first and foremost, weighed probably 65 pounds.
Wow.
Not literally, but when you're wearing it and when you're carrying it around, it feels like it's 65 pounds. I did a full squat to the floor. My trainer was impressed. She's like, I don't know how you did that, but I did a full squat to the floor. And I think, I was just overwhelmed with emotion that all my hard work and years of being in pageantry had finally paid off. And that was it.
Wow, so I saw videos of you when you were a little girl. And
you
were talking about pageantry. I think you won almost every one. But I think, 10 years old. How old were you when you first got into pageantry?
I was 11.
11?
Yes.
Wow. Was that something that your parents said, or did you have Constantine in your life, or was he your, what is it, your woman girl? What do you?
Hype girl.
Hype girl. Sorry.
No, we met.
I will get that right.
How old was I? Probably like 18 or 19.
Oh, so he's been with you for a while.
Yeah, he's been with me for a while.
Wow.
My parents were not into it at all.
Really?
I actually got something in the mail, and I recently had a post about it. I had seen a former Miss Illinois I couldn't even tell you what her name was. I couldn't tell you which system she was from, but I remember sitting at this assembly, sitting on the floor and looking up at this Miss Illinois, and I was like, I could never be that girl. And then 6 months to a year later, I get something in the mail, an invitation to join a pageant. And I asked my mom, and she said, yeah, sure. Dad said no, of course.
Yeah.
Dad's smart.
At 11 years old.
Dad's smart. Dad's a smart cookie.
Wow.
And here we are, however many years later. 20.
And did you win that one?
No.
You didn't?
I was very tall, very awkward, very shy.
Really?
I clung to my mom's arm the entire weekend. I was like, I do not want to do this.
Wow. So wait a second. You lose and you still go the next time. So that's great because there was a couple of people that lost in this last one. And what do you tell the people that just didn't come in first?
If it's your passion, honestly, just keep going for it. Keep trying for it. I mean, I competed probably 7 times before I won my first title. It was a very small town local title. And then I competed another 5 times, and Miss Illinois International was the very last shot. It was my last year of eligibility, and I was just at a point in my life where I was ready to give it one last go. I love competition. I love competing, and I won Miss Illinois International, not expecting to win.
Wow.
Looked at my directors and said, now what? And they said, set a goal and we'll go for it. And I was like, well, since I'm on the end of the age range.
What was that, 18?
29.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're past 29?
I'm 30.
Holy mackerel.
Thank you.
Wow.
So I said, this is it. Let's go all out. Let's do this. And it took a lot.
Really?
A lot. I mean, blood, sweat, tears. Literally, blood, sweat, tears.
Wow. But you made a good point that maybe we can help all the other girls who are not winning. You said you moved to a small town that's very, very low population, and then you run there. So
But
was
I
that the
lived
key to
there.
your
I
success?
didn't-
Oh, but you said, well, no, I'm going to go
I
to a
didn't
place.
force my family to pick up and leave so I could do
Because
this.
now that's the way I just
That would
want
make it very interesting.
There goes the hope. Megan has just got rid of all hope for all you girls who've lost the
Sorry.
first or the second time. No, but I thought that you meant I went to a small town, maybe 13 people. There was only me, and I won. That's not the way it worked.
No, there was 6.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So you're 29. How many pageants have you won in that span of?
3.
That's really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I competed 15 times.
Wow. I got to tell you, that's awesome because a lot of people would give up, but that's amazing that you kept going.
It's just, there's something about it. I mean, I was an athlete my entire life growing up, and just missing, I mean, I still play today.
Volleyball?
But yes, volleyball.
Yeah.
I still play today, but there's something that was just lacking. And it's a different type of adrenaline. It's a different type of competition when you enter pageant mode and you're in the prep. I mean, your whole entire lifestyle changes because you're full in prep mode. The way you walk, the way you talk, what you eat, what you wear, how you do your hair and makeup, how you show up to work or
Is that
school
every day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You set a goal, and my mentality, I literally put it on my vision board. So I saw it every morning.
You have a vision board?
I do.
So do I.
Really?
Wow. Like, I'm a
wanna
Tony
see it.
Robbins guy, and I always go into that stuff, and vision boards are very, very big.
They are. And, you put it in a place where you can see it every single day.
I do that, too.
And I put the Miss Illinois International logo.
What's so funny about that? Oh, wait.
I don't know. They're laughing.
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation
Your
with
your
you.
boyfriend guy is
My hype girl.
your hyper girlfriend is looking at me slunched down, and but that's true. The vision boards work all the time.
Yeah.
So those goals that I put out are super far out there. How far out? I just want to see if they come true because it looks like they came true for you. How far out there do you put your goals when you have a vision board?
One year, I set 3 goals for myself. To get a new job, to move, and to buy a new car. Those are 3 pretty big goals in one year. I didn't accomplish it the first year, but the second year, I accomplished it within 3 months.
Wow.
And then, of course, when I was doing Miss Illinois International, I put the logo of Miss Illinois International front and center on my vision board. Saw it every single day. And the day I won Miss Illinois International, it came down and the Miss International logo went up immediately.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So where did you get this whole vision board idea from?
We talk about it in school, and I saw a couple people at work. They did it as team building activities, and I think I was a little bit jealous of those teams because my team never really did it.
Wow.
And one day, it was, I don't know, a couple years ago, I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a vision board. These are all things I want to accomplish this year, next 5 years, next 10 years. So.
Gotcha. And do you still play volleyball?
I do.
Well, really?
Yep.
Where do you play? In Chicago?
Anywhere.
Really?
Sometimes in my house.
In your house?
Yeah.
No. How do you play volleyball in your house?
You just take a ball and hit it against the wall.
Oh.
I mean, it's my house, so my parents can't yell at me
Oh,
anymore.
okay, I got it. No, I'm thinking like my son, because my son does crazy, stupid things too, and you don't give him any ideas because he will do stuff like that. He'll throw volleyballs. Yeah, we've gone through a couple of.
I did get in trouble one time with my mom.
Gotcha. So I guess, do they have teams in volleyball that you can play in Chicago?
Yes. So I play on a weeknight team, and then I also
cool.
have a USAV team. We play AA at Nationals, so we're pretty legit, I would say.
That's awesome.
Semi-pro.
That's great.
We obviously couldn't play last year because of this pandemic. And then this year, people kind of were just all over the place, but hope to get the team back together and make it out to Nationals next year.
Gotcha. So I have a couple of questions before we get to the most important, which is your platform. So, do you intimidate men? Because I gotta say that because you look at you and my jaw is dropping, my tongue is like, it's like, holy cow, this woman's like social distance, 6 feet away, but you're stunning, right?
You.
So how do you meet men? I mean, it's got to be difficult for you.
Honestly, I was actually talking with a couple of my friends about this recently. I don't notice people when I walk into a place and some people will be like, oh my gosh, all these people are looking at you, or this person's giving you eyes. I never notice that. I kind of just always keep to myself. I don't know. I never really liked being tall. It was a very big confidence issue for me.
Really?
But once I grew into being tall, I was like, yeah, I got this. This is
right.
fine. But meeting guys is definitely interesting. I don't know. Apps right now.
Wow.
I literally have on my profile, you should not go out with me if you're shorter than 6'4".
Wow.
And I get
That's,
I
by
get
the
a
way,
lot
all
of,
the Italian population. You're losing the best of the best.
Sorry. I've gotten a lot of very interesting comments on that.
Well, you're not as interesting as that one. So, okay, so that's part one. So part two, Mary probably tells you, I really dig deep into people and I really find out a lot about them. So next month, or in a few weeks, I would say, I think it's the 11th of July, 2016, is your 5-year anniversary, I think, of being on Bachelorette. Were you a Bachelorette person?
Oh my gosh.
Were you on
You really did dig deep.
I did. Oh, boy, it's coming out.
I was not on The Bachelorette.
Oh, come on. You're even
However,
quoted. You're even quoted on some of their stuff.
I am.
Okay.
I did go to the live auditions for it.
And don't tell me you didn't make it.
I did not.
Because they were Italian guys, all good looking, and they were under
probably
6 feet
too short.
That's exactly right.
We talked about height actually in the interview, but honestly,
I knew it.
I think, 5 years ago.
Yeah, July 11th, next month.
Wow.
It'll be 5 years.
I forget about some things. That's one thing I try to forget about. But no, I think what had happened was at that point in my life, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I think I had just moved to Chicago with my best friend, and she was single, and we're both pageant girls, so we said, why don't we try something different? You know,
Wow. That's different.
The whole dating, the online dating thing isn't really working, so why not try to find love on national TV? So her and I went together to the open casting call. It was downtown Chicago, and I mean, women. It was mainly women. I think they were interviewing women to be for the next Bachelor season. And they did a 5-minute video interview, and it was the most awkward interview of my life.
Really?
Because they were very question answer, and when you interview, you try to build a connection. You try to have a conversation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And this was very matter of fact. What do you think about this? And that's it. And when 5 minutes is up, your interview's up, camera's cut off, and okay, thanks.
Wow.
And you just leave.
Did you know anybody that actually gone through and was on that TV show?
No.
Really?
I know some people. I know some people who know some people, but I don't actually have a personal connection to somebody who is on the show.
Got it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Rock City Central, you heard it first right here on Rock
I
City.
was not on the show.
Gotcha. That's all right. We'll see.
I don't know if I would consider it now. Though.
Gotcha.
5 years I was in a different place in my life.
Yeah, so TV is just a little different too. I mean, they expose things and they really want to make. So I'll give you an example. My kids were on. One of my son was on Howard Stern's show that what is it? Not American Idol. America's Got Talent.
Okay.
and it's a reality show, right? And when they were picked, we had to do that surprise like 3 or 4 times to Hammerstein Ballroom, and it's Howard Stern and Heidi Klum and Howie Mandel, and we had to act surprised. There's nothing real about this reality TV show, really. So, and then Nick Cannon's back there, and he's trying to with the wives, I'm like, Nick, that's my wife, it's just like, it was really strange. So TV's not what it makes it out to be. So
I know.
It's probably
I used
just
to
as
work
good.
in TV.
Did you really?
I did. I worked in the sports industry for a little bit.
Wow. For volleyball?
No, for all sports.
So like a commentator?
That's what I wanted to do, but I was behind the scenes, yeah.
Wow. I can't believe they put you behind the scenes.
I
Did
tried
they
to
not
get on
make you
air,
a
but
Megan?
that is actually where you do pick up your family and literally move to a small town. So maybe your idea would have worked in that scenario.
Oh, that's right. You just went for the wrong profession.
I know.
It's too bad. It's too bad. So let's talk about the more important things. I mean, that really wasn't so important. But the more important thing is your platform. Yes. So when I met Mary, she's like, listen, you're going to meet a lot of beautiful women, but let me tell you, they have some amazing platforms. Like, they'll talk about what they really believe in, and this is the door into what they do. So anybody who's watching for New Jersey International, whether it's Miss, Mrs., we can all work that out later. But, enter, because this is great. If you have a really great platform, whether it's bullying or if it's mental health, we'll talk about that as well. There's so many things that these women stand for, and it's great because you actually introduce them to so many other people who really couldn't care less about it until you meet somebody and like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden they become, I want to help. How do I help? And that's amazing. So we'll talk about yours, and yours is mental health.
Correct.
And I went out, so this is me not knowing you're coming in, and I got this ginormous check, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get Megan in here. I'm gonna give her this beautiful check, and I'm gonna give you this check here. So thank you.
Oh my
Lucia.
gosh.
This was the check that we had. So Rock Out Loud this is music school here, and this is for your Mental Health America, which is
thank
your
you
platform.
so much.
And that was $150. Now
That's
this was
amazing.
already. I think, did you send this check to her? Because you can't cash it twice.
Oh,
because of your balance.
really?
Yep. Yes.
They're going to be very disappointed about that.
They will. And by the way, Lucia, just make sure we're at the same height when this is aired. Thank you.
Do we have a stool?
You know what? I'm looking for a stool.
Do you want my shoes?
I'm trying really hard here.
These would look
There
really
you go.
cute.
Is this the way the women do it? Is that right?
We'll work on it later.
Okay. Yes. When we do the pictures. So
Does the video go up too?
The
because
video,
the
yes.
people need to see the video.
They really do, and they'll see that. And by the way, 7/17/19, that's the day we got the keys for Rock Out Loud Live when we started building.
Aww.
That's my favorite numbers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in fact,
Was that strategic or was that a coincidence?
Oh my God, that's a great question. Let me get on camera for this. So that's a great question. Why? So the 717. We have a special guest, another special guest. So 717 is a great number. It's a great number for a lot of reasons. My dad's birthday, 717. Walt Disney opened Disney World. I'm sorry, Disneyland, 1955, July 17th. And when they gave me the keys, July 17th.
And I almost interviewed for The Bachelor on July 17th.
Are you kidding? That's right, it was July 11th.
6 days
Holy
away.
mackerel.
Almost.
That's a great number.
Wow.
That's a great number. Okay, let's
That's probably why I didn't make it, because it wasn't on the 17th.
Maybe. If it was, I bet you would have.
This is the best day of my life.
You know what? It is. It is the best.
Actually, it's the second best day of my life.
Your first best day?
When I.
When you were crowned. That's right. That's right. If Mary wasn't in the audience, and possibly it would have been definitely your first best day. So let's talk about mental health. This was a great time to pick mental health. Not that you picked it, but you believed in it. First is, when I read your story, I said, how could you not have confidence? Because you're beautiful, you're very, very smart, you're super duper talented. I mean, volleyball and sports, that's like a guy's dream, because I love volleyball, even though I'm short. I know I'm a talent. I can never get the net, but I would love playing with you. But why would somebody like you, who seems to have it all, suffer from confidence or mental health?
I unfortunately don't have an answer for why it happens. I had anxiety attacks when I was in high school, which as soon as you say my chest hurts, they automatically start doing heart tests.
Really?
Yes, because chest pain is associated with a heart attack.
Right.
So tell me how a 17-year-old athlete plays volleyball every day,
Right.
grew up, swimming, gymnastics, volleyball, everything. I was involved. Goes to the emergency room for chest pain and has a heart condition. never did any sort of mental health evaluation whatsoever. So I kept on having these horrible, like stabbing.
Anxiety attacks, you said?
Anxiety attacks, yes.
Really?
Chest pains. And they basically just kept on saying their heart condition, so we'll monitor you. Here's an inhaler. Maybe you have asthma. They could never pinpoint it. I was hooked up to all the machines, did all the tests, the whole 9 yards, x-rays, everything. And the same thing happened again when I went to college. It's not that funny of a story, but it's interesting. But I have an irrational fear of flying over water, and my dad was getting married in the Bahamas.
Wait, an irrational fear of flying? Is that such a thing?
I made it a thing.
Wow! And you know what? You could. I'll buy it. Because I'm going to now say that, there's irrational fear.
I knew I was going to the Bahamas to obviously be there for my dad's wedding, and it was college volleyball a week before, and I start having these panic attacks in the middle of volleyball practice. And immediately chest pains, they're like, go to the emergency room, but no one can go with you because the whole team's here practicing and we have games. So again, went to the
So
emergency
that game
room.
is more important than your mental health and your.
Well, I went to a small school, so we didn't have all of the trainers on staff to be there with me. But I was shaking in my volleyball shoes. I was like, I don't know what's happening. And so this happened for probably about 11 or 12 years until until 2018. I started having other symptoms. I was having headaches. I was having these kind of really scary, almost blackout episodes where it was like a light switch went off.
Was it right before something big was coming up?
Nope.
Just out of nowhere?
Completely unexplained. Happened when I was driving. It happened when I was in the gym. Happened when I was at work. And I would forget everything. I would forget where I was, what I was doing, where I was going. And so I started every doctor's favorite thing, Google.com.
Yes.
Start Googling your symptoms. And I started reading more about it, and I started reading about mental health and anxiety. And no one in my family has a history of mental health. None of my friends have a history of mental health that I knew of at the time. And I built up the courage, sent my doctor an email, said, I don't know where to start. I don't know anything about this, but do I start with you, your family doctor?
Right.
What do I do? So we went in and we had a conversation, and she diagnosed me with anxiety. And after further evaluation, I have something that's called high functioning anxiety. So I get these tics where I feel like I have 7 million things to do in only 15 and a half seconds to complete everything. Yeah. And we made a plan, and the plan was to go on medication, which is something that I was fearful of because I didn't want to feel like I depended on it, or that I had to take this medication to feel good or to feel right and to live a normal life. But it's been working. It's been helping me a lot. But actually this year, it is my goal to come off medication, and through mental health awareness and all the work that I've been doing with Mental Health America and my platform, I've learned of different ways to channel my anxiety and to care for my mental health. And a lot of it's through self-care.
So I have a great question.
Okay.
Why did you or your doctor choose medication? Why not therapy?
That was an option as well, but there was something that didn't sit right with me about opening up to a complete stranger that I didn't know and talking about things that could be triggers for my anxiety. So I didn't want to take that avenue, but that is something that I am exploring for the future.
Yeah, because I know a lot of kids, before they get on stage, they get that same thing, the anxiety. My son would have it, and the strange thing is this chewing gum takes it away. I was just talking to somebody.
Everyone's got their thing.
Yeah.
What works for them.
Ever watch Paul McCartney? He's chewing gum every time he plays. You ever see Eric Clapton on stage chewing gum? Steven Tyler chewing gum. Yeah, it's a thing that people use before they get on stage. So every time my kids would play, it was a stick of gum, and they would never make a mistake. It was just a crazy thing. But and me, I found like my coaches. So I have life coaches, Tony Robbins coaches. I've been going to them for years. I don't go much, but for like 6 years I spent with them, and they are awesome. So there was no medication because I didn't want to do that. But when you speak to a life coach, man, your whole life is just a different view. They say you can't see the label when you're inside the jar. And when you speak to a coach, they're seeing that label crystal clear, and it really helped me a lot. So if there's ever a time you want to reach out to my Tony Robbins guys, they're awesome, and they help a lot. They've helped a lot of my friends. So that's great. So now the time comes where there's in lockdown, and the days that when most people are in fear, and the anxiety kicks in. What happened? So what happened to you? Anything particular for you during the COVID?
Thankfully, I didn't have a mental breakdown until I was in quarantine myself, which happened a couple months ago when I was supposed to be here. Yes. I, had a lot more distractions at the time. So I was preparing for Miss International. I was getting outside every day. I was running outside. I was getting the fresh air. I was taking care of my body and doing everything I needed to do. And that kept me busy because I was working on my platform. I was working on my platform as Miss Illinois International. I was working on becoming the best version of myself for the Miss International competition. Right. But that all changed in April when I unfortunately got sick and was locked in my house by myself for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it does take a toll on your body because you can't work out. You don't feel well. Mm-hmm. You can still do self-care. I did do a couple baths, which is fantastic. Put your phone away, put everything away, and just fill up a nice hot bathtub with some Epsom salt and just lay there and think about nothing.
Do you meditate at all?
I don't, but I've been looking into it. I honestly...
The simple free things.
I know. I work out a lot, but the meditation thing I definitely do want to look into.
Yeah.
I just honestly haven't had the time to.
Yeah, there's some really great people. YouTube, too. It's free. You listen to these meditations. It's amazing. So how are you able to then do things for your platform when you're kind of like stuck in quarantine?
So it's very interesting. Probably one of my first appearances as Miss International was giving a presentation on mental health. And since it was locked down and you can't travel anywhere, we had to do the interview or the presentation via Zoom. So I prepared this whole presentation. I have my less than perfect studio. I'm looking out here and see how great this studio is. Set up in my living room. Uh-huh. I've got coffee tables stacked on top of each other.
A volleyball court?
Basically, exactly. I'm a volleyball court. And I log on and I give this presentation about mental health. Mind you, I can't hear anyone because they're all on mute.
Oh.
I can't see anyone because my presentation is taking up the whole screen.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I'm sitting in my living room talking to a lifeless computer about mental health, and I start going into a panic attack. Is my message resonating? Do they like me? Is this worth their time?
Wow.
So I panicked midway through and just kind of got to a point where I'm like, we can speed this up and end it because that's all I wanted to do at the time. And at the end, still maybe 1 or 2 people had their cameras on, so I couldn't see anything. I never got that reinforcement.
Yeah.
The facial expressions, the comments from anyone. And I logged off of that meeting and said, what just happened?
Wow.
What am I doing? As Miss International, giving a presentation on mental health, I was having my own mental health struggles.
Wow.
So I took a second. I reflected on everything that I did and just reminded myself of why I was here, why I was doing what I was doing, and that my message was important, and that somebody somewhere believes in my message and thought I did a great job.
Right.
And then immediately jumped on another call about mental health. 3 days later, I got an email from the coordinator of the event saying that everyone loved it and thought I was so inspiring.
That's amazing.
And singing praises left and right, and it all just came back, and I just completely got in my head, and that's how easy it is.
It's true. It's all mental, right?
It is.
Yeah. So
it's so easy to tear yourself down, but all you have to do, honestly, I look myself in the mirror sometimes and be like, yeah, you're Miss International.
Right.
You have a great job. You live in Chicago. You're thriving. Things are really, really great.
Yeah,
It could be worse.
Talk about your job for a second.
My job is very complicated right now. So I'm a digital asset manager, which sounds very techy. And I manage a team of about 21 people who sit in Spain right now.
Wow.
And
they got to be a lot shorter than you, because those Europeans, man.
I haven't met the majority of them, but I met a handful of them right before COVID happened. I was able to spend about 13 days in Spain with them between Madrid and Barcelona.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I'm also a project manager. So right now I'm working on a massive integration of our department and an overhaul of how we do our job. So I work in marketing operations for a pharmaceutical company.
How does that interfere with, or does this interfere with that? You're traveling.
I'm very good at time management and organization.
Got it.
Very, very key point. I manage my schedules very openly with my managers. I schedule my social media so it doesn't interfere with work, or so it doesn't look like I'm on social media during the workday.
Right.
You have to be, this is a full-time job, and I also have a full-time job.
Right.
So I have to be very conscientious of my time management, and I think I do a pretty good job at it.
That's great. That's awesome. I would love to have you as a project manager. It would be awesome. I'd be like, Miss Megan, can I take my lunch break? So now it's going to be life after the crown. I guess that's my follow-up question to that. So your crown is pretty much over soon.
No, it's not.
It's
Don't
soon.
say that.
Well, what happens to life after the crown? I mean, you got to give it up, right?
Honestly, I've been thinking about this because I know that's a hot ticket question for when we get to Miss International, and now a lot of people are starting to ask me, and I don't know the answer to that. I live a very fast-paced lifestyle. I'm always working towards something, and I haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
I would love to travel more. I am actually going to Alaska after the pageant. One of my friends is getting married up there. Super remote. Can't wait. So I'm going to do a little bit of traveling, and I've got a few ideas up my sleeve.
That's
and
great.
What's after the crown.
That is awesome.
You'll have to follow along.
Yes, we will on your Instagram handle. Yes. That's exactly right. So what we do is at the end of these podcasts, I come up.
It's
with
already the end.
Well, you know what? It's around 35 minutes or so.
What?
So yeah, time will just fly. But
that's how long I've been talking.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. And we can continue this. But the question's a great question because it starts off because I'm a really big Mustang guy. Like when I'll never forget. I was 17 years old. I was on Brooklyn, Coney Island Avenue. I was with my dad, and I looked over at a car, and it was the most beautiful car I've ever seen. And my dad's like, "Oh, that's a '66 Mustang or a '65 Mustang." And I said, "Wow, that's beautiful." He goes, "Yeah, I was gonna get one." Long story. Well, I don't know if my mom's gonna watch this. She said, "Don't mention this on this podcast anymore." It was about her hips. She couldn't close the door. Never mind. So it was. So she ended up saying, "Let's go with a Ford Fairlane. There's a little bit more room in the seat." So he never got a chance to have a Mustang, and my first car at 18 was a Mustang. Dad drove it. It was like a great thing. So a few years ago, probably about 15 years ago, I had one made. It was a beautiful car, 66 convertible. Parked it in the driveway. I put the garage down, and as that garage was going down, I'm like, "Dad, I love this car, man. It's beautiful." And he looked at me and said, "I was just in church, and the preacher had said to everybody at church, they said, everything that we own in this life will be owned by somebody else. The crown will be somebody else's one day. Everything, whether it's your car or your house, your volleyball, it's going to be gone." So he said, "What are you in it for? What are you here for?" And I was just an ignorant guy at that time. I was like, "Dad, I'm just doing it because I love it." There's something more to that. So my question to you is, after the crown is gone and everything's gone and it's 100 years from now, how do you want people to remember you?
The first thing that comes to my mind, unfortunately, is people are going to think back to the year 2020. And what are they going to think of? Pandemic.
Yeah.
COVID. Those who are involved in pageantry in the international system, they're going to be like, who was that queen that year?
Right.
Megan Vladik was Miss International,
right.
2020. And I'm not going to lie, it's been tough. And this is a tough job, and you have to have thick skin, and you have to be very, very motivated to do the job as Miss International.
Yeah.
Layer on a pandemic and COVID-19 and being told countless times, there's so many things I've wanted to do as Miss International.
Yeah.
So many. And I was told no. What do you do in that situation? You can break down, you can give up, you can quit,
right.
Or you can find a way to keep going. Thank God we have a beautiful thing called technology,
right,
and connectivity. I was able to reach my platform to nearly 100,000 people.
Wow.
Via social media.
Wow.
I did a Mind, Heart, Body May campaign. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So each week was a different topic. We focused on the mind, so mental health awareness, body, keeping your body healthy, and your mind, heart, keeping your heart healthy, and then body, taking care of your body, self-care, nourishment. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the year 2020.
That's true. Not
Because
100,000 people, right?
I would have gone and I would have spoke in front of audiences.
Yeah.
And that could have been 50 to 100, maybe 500 people, but not 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the biggest takeaway from my year. It's not, oh, that's unfortunate. You were Miss International during the year of COVID. It is, wow, you found a way to make it work. There are no excuses. You have one shot. I'm not going to get an extra year because COVID ruined it or the pandemic ruined it. I found a way to make it work, and that's what I want to be remembered for, is the work that I did for my platform with this title and making an impact.
That's a great happy ending. It really is. But I want to honor you for a few things. The first is that you didn't come in just as a winner. You came in, you said you only won 3 and you've been doing these for years. And that's important because a lot of people who watch this are like, well, she's beautiful. She probably wins them all. And it's great. You were vulnerable enough to say, you could have said, yeah, I won 3 and it was great. You didn't have to say you lost a lot. So that's very important. And a lot of people will look up to you and say, wow, she is a real person. That's the first thing. Mental health awareness is very important too. And especially, there's anxiety happens. I get anxieties all the time. I think everybody does. And there's probably a part where it's probably normal for most people, right?
I do.
And it's how you handle it. It's very, very important. So you handled it really well. I mean, to get up on a stage in front of all of those people and do it and win, so it means you can break through. So it gives a lot of people that, I could do it too. And that
you have to be your own hype girl too.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look in the mirror, you're like, I got this, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
When I was backstage, I always wonder if people could hear me backstage. So I did something a little bit different for Miss International. I literally gave myself a pep talk every time before I went on stage. There were certain things about your walk and what you need to do with each outfit that you're wearing. So my fun fashion was actually bright yellow, and I wanted J-Lo inspired rhinestone tights underneath it.
Wow.
And when I put on that outfit, I felt like $1 million, but it only comes through if I can act like how I wanted to act.
Right.
So when I was backstage, and I'm laughing because I really would love to know if anyone ever heard me, I'm like, J-Lo. You're J-Lo right now. You're going to go out there. You're going to rock this, put your hips into it. Constantine's laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I don't even think you knew this. But I would say it out loud, and I would be like, you're awesome. There's maybe a couple of other things that I probably shouldn't say out loud that I thought in my head, but whatever you got to do to hype yourself up and to get you into that mindset. And I think that honestly really helped.
Totally. I mean, this whole thing, I don't know if you heard me say I wish I was 6'4" about 1,000 times, but I said I wish I was 6'4" about 1,000 times. Nothing I could do, but now I said it out loud. Constantine had no idea because he was looking at you the whole time. But anyway, I want to thank you again. Megan Vladik, she is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.